breaking down the teams you're passionate about. This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, folks, let's get it. Yes, this is not Peter Brady. No. I'm Scott Gerard. That is Kevin Graham. My voice is shot, KG. So hang in there with me, okay?
Why, Scott? It's not like you talk all the time or anything. I mean, obviously, you're only like calling 3 hours of radio every day with all your friends, and then you get on the mic and have to do a 2.5-hour Utah State blowouts where they're getting crushed by UNLV.
Wow.
So, you know what?
And we're off.
And now you have no voice. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Fine, I'll just talk more. I mean, I'll be one of your talkative friends.
The bar's set pretty high. This horse wants to run, so I'm going to let you run.
I'm on YouTube today. This is scary. Like, people can actually see me. Yeah, they should go check that out. What, they go to KSL Sports YouTube thing?
Yeah, all you have to do is go to YouTube, type in KSL Sports. It'll take you right to the video feed. You can also go to KSLSports.com. It's on there, so you get to see Kevin up close and in person. You can see me and my ragged face after. All right, I did something really dumb. And I'm just going to get this out of the way because I think that's kind of led me into the predicament that I'm in right now. I left right after that game. So it was a 9 o'clock Mountain game against UNLV, and I thought I could leave in the morning. I needed to get back for the show. In fact, Lloyd and I had a interview that we had to tape at 10:15 the next morning. And so I thought, well, I could leave at like 4, or I'll just drive through the night. And so I got done with the game about midnight, drove through, and then got home about 6:30 a.m. Got about an hour.
I have a question. I mean, I know it's been 13 years since I've been in Salt Lake City, when I was doing regular radio, or at least the third time I was doing regular radio. They still have an airport there, right, in Salt Lake City? Because I remember there's this time where you can get on flights, Delta, even Southwest, I think, and you would fly, and it would take like an hour to get to Vegas, and then you could jump in an Uber and, move your way to your hotel or wherever the heck you were doing, or maybe you were living out of your car. Maybe you didn't have a hotel. I don't know. I mean, you're on the Mountain West Conference budget. I get it, all right? I know you haven't hit the Pac-12 yet with Utah State, but I would think, Scotty, that you could have easily flown, had time to connect. And then honestly, the way flights are, if you wanted to leave that night, you probably could have gone on a late flight, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of late flights doing that Vegas to
Not
Salt
quite
Lake.
that late. I could have probably got a 6 a.m. though, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Or a 7 a.m. and still get in at like 8 or 9 and still make it for your interview and maybe have a voice right now and not be complaining and being in this predicament that you're in. I'm just saying.
It is okay.
Throwing it out there.
I'm fully willing to admit that this is very self-inflicted, and it was about a lot of bad life choices. And I usually like to drive in Vegas because, I don't like McCarran, and by the time you get through security and all that other nonsense and you wait around, it's almost 6s in terms of time, but that's not the case anymore. Yeah, I screwed up. I'll own it. I'm fine.
But I do understand the flight predicament thing. I may have once in my career covering a Vegas Bowl. Yeah, it was a Las Vegas Bowl because BYU played there like every year. 5 straight years. And I do recall that who was Hans with that day?
Was it Lund?
Hans drove. Oh. Might have been Lund. I don't know. We were covering the Vegas Bowl, and I decided I was going to fly. It was a couple days before Christmas, and I was supposed to be on an 8 a.m. flight from Vegas back to Salt Lake, and I was married at the time, and I was supposed to go shopping that day because it was a couple days before Christmas with my wife at the time and all that. And let's just say that 8 a.m. flight, I woke up at 8 a.m. And so, and then I couldn't get out of Vegas till like 10 o'clock at night that night with all the flights and all that. Yeah, that wasn't good. And you wonder why I'm divorced. So I guess, so I do understand, all right? I mean, and I would love to say it was just an accidental sleep, but perhaps it was because I was not doing well at the blackjack table, and I decided in my competitive nature I was going to get my money back, and that quite did not happen. And then I laid down for a 1-hour nap like you apparently did by driving, and I didn't quite make it to the airport. So I understand the driving predicament. All I remember is I called Hans, and he was already, I think, in St. George, and he was laughing, laughing his rear end off at me. And he's like, well, I'll turn around and get you. And I'm like, no, you won't, Hans. You're just lying.
No, he wouldn't have done that.
No, so So really, more of the story, if we put two and two together, the reason I am divorced and he is still happily married, he's still happily married, so we assume, is because Hans wouldn't come pick me up, and therefore, that's where I am at this time.
Wow. So you're relating the fallout of your marriage to the fact that Hans didn't turn around from St. George, come and pick you up, and then drive you back to Vegas or back to Salt Lake. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. And now, 100%. And now I'm here because Hans, at least filling in today and tomorrow, because Hans is out in the real world,
making real money,
and making millions of dollars and enjoying life, and probably in an effort to keep his lovely wife from leaving him, because let's face it, the reason she married him is because she thought he was going to be like a long-time NFL player.
A lot of earning potential there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then he was with the Utah Blaze and in radio. But, he's doing fine now, so I'm very happy.
You rocking the Chippewa shirt? That's impressive.
I am. Central Michigan Chippewas. How many people can we get? How many people do we view in? 30? I don't know what it is. So, yeah. Rocking the Central Michigan Chippewas. We're back. Our football team is better now again. We made a bowl. We lost to Northwestern. I was there in the lovely Detroit Bowl that's already going to be non-existent for the rest of my life. So, yeah, it's all good. So, we're good to go. Excited the Jazz lost last night. Excited about the world.
Well, let's get to it. We've got a lot to break down on the program. We got a hockey trade. We got the Jazz tanking. We got all kinds of good stuff. So let's get to it. Starting lineup right now.
It's time to kick off the show with the biggest headlines of the day. This is your starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jazz, another loss, Kevin. They are putting together a masterclass of losing because, honestly, you're up against a 76er team that wasn't overly interested in winning that game. They didn't have Paul George. They didn't have Joel Embiid. They didn't have VJ Edgecombe. Jazz should win that game. Nope. Jazz blew a 6-point lead in the final 4 minutes of that game, gave up a 12-2 run. And God bless America, they end up losing that game to the Philadelphia 76ers on the road.
Yep, a great loss once again by the Jazz. Yeah, they're now, 7 in a row they have lost. Keyonte George still scoring points. Obviously, though, Keyonte gave just too much effort because now he's got to play in the game against the Wizards.
Enough
by
of that.
the way, right ankle injury management. I don't know injury management. That's not – again, I'm not an expert at this, but you just got fined $500,000 by the NBA. When the NBA sees injury management, that passes? They're going to be okay? There's going to be no fine coming, hopefully?
Because
we're all right there?
they announced beforehand. So FanDuel and DraftKings won't get mad at him because they know ahead of time he's not going to play. You can fake injuries. You just have to do it in the right way. You can't play a guy and then sit him in the fourth quarter. That gets your gambling guys really angry.
Okay, good. All right, so they're okay with that. So
yes.
Why don't they do injury management then going forward for every single game? That's what I would do. I'd be like, okay, you know what, Keyonte George, sorry, ankle. He's coming off the ankles anyway, so injury management.
Yeah.
So that is good. Back-to-back, obviously, I think they can get away with it as well. And that, you know what? And this is actually one of those games, even though it was a back-to-back, I thought the Jazz could win because, let's face it, the Wizards have the fourth worst record. They would have the fourth pick if the lottery would play out the way it should, which it won't. The Jazz have the fifth worst record. So, yes, I thought maybe. But now you got Trae Young is going to play and make his debut. So now I think that tells me that the Jazz are definitely going to lose again in tonight's game. It could be ugly because, who's going to pick up the 30 points that Keontae's been scoring the last couple games? I'm not sure. So it's going to be a pretty ugly battle, which I believe you can hear right here on the zone, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
This is why I know you miss doing afternoon radio, but when you do afternoon radio on the flagship station and it's an East Coast road swing for your hockey team and your NBA team, you guys, our afternoon show's not putting in a lot of hours. Let's just say that right now. They're getting bumped right and left.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? And it's going to be – but you got to – here's the thing I watched, as I was looking at this game from last night, Scotty. And I don't get a lot of Jazz games where I'm located. I'm on the East Coast right now, and And again, I appreciate being your friend, so you can let me be on board on this. But I'm really tired. I've only followed this I've only been watching this tanking for 2 weeks now closely. And I feel for you Jazz fans, man. I feel for you, Scotty, and Lloyd, and Jake, and Ben, and everybody on this station, and Locke calling these games, and Bowler, and Thurl. And, I feel for everyone involved with this, because this is hard. It's a tired setup you got going on here. I mean, you're just watching these games, and you're trying to think that you're actually going to be competitive. And you're faking the competitive nature. And yes, last night there was a chance they're actually going to win, but really they're not. And it's okay, how are they going to find a way to lose? And let's miss some shots and play inept defense down the stretch and get outscored 12-2 as you mentioned and lose. And it's wow. And you guys have been doing this for 4 years now.
Oh right? Yeah, no, it's you get used to it after a while. You become numb to it, and it's been kind of a running joke for a while. But I think the one thing that everybody can wrap their brain around right now, which is why we're having a good time with it right now. Last year was just pure misery. Make no mistake, last year sucked because there was no end in sight. But as soon as the Jazz pulled the trigger on the Jaren Jackson trade, it's oh, okay, there's an expiration date to this, and it's the end of the season. As soon as that final game is over in the middle of April, boom, it's over, and it's time to win games. And so I think everybody here can wrap their brain around it because they know that after that Jaren Jackson trade, it's go time next year. It's go time. Now, to help better that team for next year when you will actually try to win games is the hope of getting a top 3 or top 4 draft pick. And that means these next 20 games just bottoming it all out and just running that Titanic right into the iceberg and letting Rose and everybody else just take a dip in the water and let everybody just go. I mean, that's exactly what you have to do at this point. Just be done. And Jazz fans can rally around that because they know, hey, 20 games, we can handle that. We can still go to games. We can still enjoy a great atmosphere. And props to the Jazz, too. If you've been to a Jazz game this year or the last couple of years, since Ryan Smith has taken over, we need to get you back out here to Salt Lake just for a trip and get you live in person and then get you to a Jazz game because the atmosphere is just awesome. They do, props to the game ops guys out there. They do a great job. And so you go to a Jazz game, you understand you're probably going to see a loss, but it's still NBA basketball. It's still a great environment. It's still a great presentation. And Jazz fans can say, okay, you know what? At the end of this season, we're ready to rock and roll. Hopefully that includes another top 4 pick. Hopefully that includes A.J. DeBonsa or, who else that can be in the mix. You'll have some money to spend in free agency, so let's go get it done. And that's how people can go to their happy place, I guess, if you want to say.
Yeah, the ones going to the game. The fear is not the fear, actually, I think is the benefit if you're a Jazz fan. You don't have to watch when they're on the road, where we as the media have to. And believe me, whatever, this is what we do, which is fine. It's just you're watching the same thing, and you're just trying to figure out, all right, how are they going to lose? And you mentioned the 20 games. I know that was a topic today for PK and DJ in the morning of how many games will the Jazz win out of the 20. And I kind of went through all the games, and I see maybe 3 wins, Scotty. I see Washington when they play in Salt Lake City. I see Sacramento. And I think accidentally they'll get another one. Somebody will get in there. But I think 3-17 is realistic. Yeah. If they somehow start stringing wings together, that's not going to be helpful. But man, that's just tough. I mean, three. You got 20 games left of this. It's a marathon. It's not ending.
Yeah, you still have 25% of your season left. Wow. We still got a good chunk to go. And it will be like this the rest of the year. Yeah, and 3-17 probably gets you where you need to be, at least to the point where, at bare minimum, you're not losing that draft pick. You can't fall far enough to at least lose that pick. And I think that's where the Jazz are hoping to be. They just don't want the NBA to screw them over, because if the NBA can screw the Jazz over, they will screw the Jazz over. So you just want to make sure you're in a position that you can't at least lose that pick. And then after that, you know what? It's just a cherry on top. Again, you smile, you grin, you bear it, you do what you can. You can even see the broadcasters getting a little loose. I mean, I don't know if you heard Thurl the other night. He was losing his mind over Joker. It's like, bam, a sniper. And, you heard Locke go, this is awful basketball. And he's not wrong. Everybody's just like, oh, can we just get through this already? Can we just find a way to get through it? And props to Will Hardy last night. It's a near tie game, and I can't remember if it was tied or if it was a 2-point lead. But all of a sudden, you got 40 seconds left. You have a timeout, and you're like, nah, I'm going to sit on that timeout.
I saw that too.
I'm going to let you guys figure it out. I mean, even Will Hardy wants to get to the end of the season. He doesn't want to delay this season 2 or 3 extra minutes. He's like, nope, we're done here. I'm not setting up a play. You guys clear out, and somebody go. Filipowski, you go try to take the game winner. Keyonte's like, do you want me to? No, Kyle, you're up. Your shot. It's
which next year, if you start seeing that next year, this year's gone completely awry.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, do it now. But I mean, and I think the writers too. I glanced at the the papers and whatnot, and saw or the websites, Deseret News. I think they had an article today about whether this is establishing a losing culture for the Jazz and all that. I hate to look. It's not. None of this means anything. I mean, I hate to say it. I know we're sitting here and we're trying to break down and look at Keyonte George and how he stepped up. And then today, Jake and Ben are talking about the fact that, can he adjust his game to not be a scorer if he doesn't, and how's that going to work and all that. Look, it doesn't matter. None of this matters the next 20. Well, all it's going to matter in the next 20 games is to get through it and lose. From a losing culture standpoint, a lot of these players that are out on the floor, either they're not going to be a major factor outside George and maybe Bailey, obviously, but and maybe some role players. But next year is a whole new year. The culture is not going to transfer over. I mean, if anything, the excitement level, not amongst just the fans, but the players are going to be tremendous because finally they're going to feel like they got a chance every night. I mean, and that's really something they haven't had, obviously, in the last few years, the ones at least have been here. And so, really, you can't gather much of anything, in my opinion, out of the rest of this season, except just get meaningful minutes for the younger guys, let them get out there, roll the ball on the floor. If there's some positives that come out, great. But the end game is lose.
It really is. Yeah.
It's kind of like junior Jazz, man. It's just like participate, have a good time, maybe learn a little, whatever you're going to learn. You're not going to learn anything.
I mean, I don't know if you ever coached your daughters in junior Jazz or around them, and you're like, okay, you know what? Where you get into the playoffs, you're like, I don't mind if they would lose, and then I could just go home and have my evenings to myself again. Like, you're like, go, come on, let's go. And then, they miss a shot. Like, okay, that really wasn't the worst thing in the world that could have happened there.
Playoffs. So the junior Jazz team that my daughters played on, my one daughter only played 1 year, and then the last 2 years she just read books while I have twin daughters while the other one played. We didn't even win a game till our last season, and it was the last game of the year. That's how bad we were, all right? I was assistant coach, so I don't want to say it wasn't odd.
It sounds more like the coach's problem.
No, in fact, we turned the corner when I was the head coach because the head coach was gone that game. We were down, I'll never forget this. Again, back to reliving Kevin coaching stories now from the athlete stories. We were down 18-2 at half, and I remember looking at the girls, and I said, I don't know what they were, 7-year-old.
Oh, you got your Herb Brooks on all of a sudden?
No, I just said, girls, you're having fun. They're like, no. And I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do. As soon as they cross the half court, attack. It was just going to be scramble. We were just going to go all after them. And then, you know what? We ended up losing the game 22-18. And afterwards, and we came back, and I said, girls, we won the second half. We won the second half. And then we went on to the next game and tied, and in the last game of the year, we won 10-6, and we celebrated like it was championship to the point where I had to apologize to the opposing coach because we celebrated so hard. And I said, look, this is the first time any of these girls have won in 3 years, so give us that opportunity. So I don't know why I told that story, because for the Jazz, you just want to keep them losing. So if they do win, if they win, say, 19 in a row and win their last one and celebrate like it's a title.
that would be, by the way, that would be the most Jazz thing ever for the Jazz to reel off a 19-game winning streak to end the season.
I know. Hey, you know what's really fun, though, Scott, about this is, and it didn't really hit me till the last minute because I'm not a mathematician by any means. There's 3 streaks on the line here tonight, and all 3 are going to get broken one way or the other. The Jazz have lost 7 in a row. The Wizards have lost 8 in a row. And the bottom 10 teams, Scott, the bottom 10 teams in the league have lost 44 in a row. So if I'm correct in this, all three of those streaks are going. One of those streaks. Well,
wow.
two of the three streaks are going to end, right? So say if we expect the Sixers or we expect the Wizards to win tonight, so that's going to end their 8-game losing streak.
Yeah.
But the Jazz winning streak will continue at 8, and then the bottom 10 teams, that'll end the 44-game losing streak because you got two bottom 10 teams playing each other. Is that amazing? I cannot believe
abysmal. Wow.
Bottom 10 teams. So in some ways, I understand why the league is sitting there going, man, we have a tanking issue. But on the other, man, I give it up to all these teams. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing to try to get what they say is obviously a more in-depth draft than we've had in past years. But yeah, 44 straight losses by 10 teams that have the worst records right now in the NBA. That's crazy.
Okay.
I wonder if that's ever happened.
No, I can't imagine that's ever happened. Okay, so you know what? I know we got to go to break, and Lloyd's already barking at me, but you know what? Okay, I can go conspiracy theory in a favor that works for the Utah Jazz here because everybody's upset about tanking. The NBA's upset about tanking. So how do you get these rules passed? You reward a tanker. So how do you reward a tanker? You give the Jazz a high pick, either number 1 or number 2. Let them draft A.J. DeBonsa, who not only chose to play high school ball, but chose to play college ball in Utah. So you might actually get a guy that might stick around in the state of Utah. And then you can say, hey, look, that team that tanked that we tried to find, they still won. They still got high up in the draft. We really have to fix this. We really have to change some rules. And then Adam Silver can go and say, look, we got to fix it. We can't have this team winning the draft anymore. That's legit. So, hey, I can come up with a conspiracy theories as to why the Jazz might, but it ain't going to happen. The Jazz will still get screwed.
No. Yeah, most likely.
I'm trying.
That's unfortunate.
I'm trying.
But you never know. You know, I mean, it's a lottery system, Scotty. I mean, the ping pong balls, they're not weighted at all. It's fair.
The envelope's never frozen. No. Yeah.
It's random.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Yeah.
We will see.
Right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Believe it or not, this guy actually has friends.
Nice.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, this has already been well established. Scott Gerard hanging out with Kevin Graham. He's our friend for the day. In fact, Kevin likes us so much, he'll even be back on the air tomorrow.
Yay.
I don't have a lot. Share the just exuding excitement.
Yippee.
You're going to be on the remote, though, aren't you? Going to be at our favorite Mazda dealer?
We'll be at the Mazda dealership coming up tomorrow. Fired up. See Jake and the crew out there. But joining us now, big trade going down with the Utah Mammoth as we all try to learn about the NHL and how big of a trade this actually is. Joining us now, hockey insider, host of the Utah Puck Report. It is Jay Stevens. Jay, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here. Good to talk about some hockey.
So when you saw this trade go down, what were your initial thoughts in regards to the Mammoth and how much it improves their lineup down the final stretch?
Well, it's pretty amazing. Anytime you can pick up an alternate captain from another team, it shows you that you're bringing in leadership and bringing in somebody that, has real meaning to another team, to another organization. But I was so surprised because all the talk was about Rob Thomas and how they were going to go after him and bring him in, and we're looking for one more forward. We're looking for another center. And then out of nowhere, we get another defenseman. I had talked before on the show that I thought the only reason Ole Mata was back in the lineup the last few games was to shop him around. It's only fair to him that we traded him. So I knew we were moving a defenseman. I just did not expect to see another defenseman coming in. But what a huge pickup. It really fills the gap that Utah's been needing as far as the physicality of the play, and just brings in another veteran leader.
Jay, what's he bring to the ice? How is he going to make this team better in their quest to get that number one wild card position?
Well, we keep talking about how fast the Utah Mammoth are, and they talk about how speed is their identity. And that's not just in skating, but that's got to be in decision-making and in puck movement. And what you're going to see with Weegs, as they call him, is just that coming from the back. You picked up a fast-moving quarterback, similar like Ian Cole, where he's making really quick decisions and can really feed those forwards. He's a very physical player, typically around the 40 to 60 penalty minutes a year. And so he's physical. He's going to open up some ice, and he's going to make it more forwards afraid to go in front of Veggie. because they'll have to pay a little bit of a price to get in there. He's got that edge to him. He is super competitive. And, I've been a fan of his for the last few years. He's been such a key part of Calgary. And he's just so fast and so smart and quick with the puck. And that's just another tool for Utah to use now. We add that now. You got Sergachev, who's a little bit more mellow, just solid defensively. But this brings more of an offense, like a quick transition defenseman.
Okay, I know you've been in the hockey world and knee-deep in it, but you also understand that the Utah fan base is very cynical, and they think nobody likes them, and they think the world is out to get them, and in some cases they are. But their only experience with professional sports of the Big Four is the NBA, where whether it was 20 years ago or yesterday, there's always this feeling like nobody wants to come to Utah, nobody wants to play in Salt Lake, nobody wants to be a part of this community. The fact that MacKenzie waived his no-trade clause to come to Utah and take on that trade and be part of that team, what does that say about the franchise that Utah's building right now?
Well, I hope that kind of sends the shockwave across the entire NHL fan base, because a lot of people were saying, and when it got presented that this trade was going to happen, people are like, no, there's no way he's going to waive his no clause or no trade to go to Utah. But the players know that Utah is a great place to play. The players appreciate what Utah is, and like we've said over the last couple of years, every time I talk to a Utah Mammoth, whether they were here originally or brought in over the summer, they're always impressed with how beautiful it is. They always find a place here that reminds them of home, which is so crazy to think about. Even for the Europeans, they'll come here and they'll move to Park City. Some people like to live downtown because they're from a big city, and then some people like to live in Daybreak. It's very interesting to me to see how well the NHL players fit in here and how much they love it. And with ownership that'll do anything for you, and a coach that is bringing people up, a GM that really knows what he's doing and has been making these masterful trades, you're going into a good situation where they're doing everything they can to improve the team and to get wins. And that's the whole plan, right? You want to be on a team that's going the right direction. And yeah, I don't think there's a player out there at this point that would say no to Utah.
Jay, if there's any negatives per se, and I don't know if this is how big of a negative, and you can tell us, Jay, he's 32 and he's got 5 years left on his deal. For the novice hockey fan, I mean, is that old for a defenseman? And by the time this deal is up, he's not going to be in his prime, right? But can defensemen play longer than, say, the guys you need, up front to score you the goals?
Yeah, you really can get a little bit more out of a defenseman. They can go a little bit longer, just depending on how they take care of their bodies and what style they play. Unfortunately, he is more of a physical player that typically doesn't have that longevity. They signed him to a long contract because of how important and the way he was able to play. So it's not out of the question. Yeah, maybe you're not getting somebody that's going to be a spring chicken, right? But for the next 3 or 4 years, you've got a solid defenseman. He's not showing any signs of slowing down. And if you look at Ian Cole's 37 right now. He puts in a lot of times he's either 1, 2, or 3 in minutes played every night, and you're getting another guy like that. That's how I would compare it. You're getting a guy at 32, compare him to what Ian Cole was at 32. Is Ian Cole as great as he was at 32? Probably not, but is he still one of the best defensemen? And does he bring all that experience with him? Absolutely. And so I think that's what we got. We got another physical player for Utah, and as fans, that's what we're going to be able to see. We're going to be able to see a guy that's going to be a leader. I still think he eats up a ton of minutes for Utah, and that gives us a third option as far as defensively. They can go with Sergachev, Cole, and now Weegs as eating a ton of defensive minutes every night. And somebody that really increases your second power play unit and will bring some more creativity to your first power play unit, and overall helps your PK. So yeah, he's not young, but I think he'll play he'll be at the top of the team, and maybe at the top 10 in the league, top 20 in the league for sure.
Jay Stevens joining us from the Utah Puck Report. You hear it on KSLSports.com, and he's a big part of what we do in our hockey coverage right here on the Zone. So, immediately I'm on Twitter, X, or whatever it is, and I go down the comments of the trade, and you got a group of people saying the Mammoth got him for nothing, and then you got other people say that the Mammoth overpaid. I love the fact that Tisha Ginla, who was rumored early on to be maybe part of this trade, still remains with the Mammoth organization. But overall, the price point that was paid for MacKenzie, was that about spot on with where it needed to be?
Yeah, 100%. It's one of those things, and on my post, I called it a master's class by Bill Armstrong, because if you look, Utah's got a ton of prospects already in the minors. Guys that look like they could really make this roster next year or the year after. So going into the draft after this season, there's really no need for 3 second-round picks. This draft isn't known to be extremely deep coming up. So to give away 3 second-round picks that you picked up over the years as basically throw-ins, and to give up Ole Mata, who came in and was such a huge part of the team last year and came in he was exactly what we needed when we needed him last year as from Utah. But, it just didn't translate this year. He's a little more offensively fluid than he is defensive. It just didn't fit Bear's system. So to give up a guy and to give him a chance to go somewhere else and play and get good minutes and show off what he can do is a huge move for Utah. And to give up some second-round picks, Castagna is, for the minor league guy, we've pulled him up. He didn't get a game. He's played. But, yeah, I think for everybody involved, it's a win. And I just saw on TSN, I think they gave Bill an A- on this trade and gave Calgary a B- on the trade. So I think Utah got him for way cheaper than anybody would have expected, especially considering nobody thought he was available.
Jay, what's next, or is there anything next?
That's a good question. I am glued to my 3 computer screens right now. Well, 2 computer screens and 1 phone, just constantly updating. Lots and lots of rumors. The Robert Thomas thing won't go away. There was a rumor that they were talking about bringing in Mitch Marner, which I can't believe that one at all. But if it's something, just what I've learned over the last couple of years, we won't see it coming. And that just seems to be Armstrong goes out and finds guys that nobody even knows are available, like Sergachev and now Weegs. So I could see Utah making one more move, but they don't have to. They're exactly where they said they were going to be. I said before I'd be surprised if they gave up anything, because you're not going to give up an Iginla. You're not going to give up Baudouin or Denoyer, these guys that have so much potential for Utah in the future. And Utah's going to get better and better and better, and then these young guys are going to get into the lineup in the next 3 years and start producing NHL numbers, and you're going to see a team that went from trying to make the playoffs to making the playoffs to going deep in the playoffs just in the next 3 to 4 years with all those, high-value prospects that we have. I can't see Utah giving those up.
Jay, appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us, and you know what? If something blows up on your phone or one of those many screens you have, let us know, and we'll get you right back on, okay?
Absolutely. Good talking to you guys.
You got it. Jay Stevens, Utah Puck Report. Good dude.
Yeah, you brought up the best. The one thing I teased on X, K-Gram content, if you guys want to follow, I said what's the biggest, I thought, thing that came out of this trade? Yeah, you're getting a good defenseman. That's going to help you. A leader, everything that Jay talked about. But what you brought up with him, Scotty, I think is the biggest thing for people in the state of Utah, is that this guy had a no-trade clause.
Yeah.
He was a well-regarded guy. I mean, he was well-regarded by the Flames, where he got a long-term deal, and he's 32. Like, he's going to play till 37 at $6.5 million a year. That's not chump change. That's a pretty good, he's a well-regarded defenseman. And this guy had a no-trade clause, or as they say in the NHL, he was trade protection, is what they call it. Because NHL always has something different. It's not players, guys, it's the boys, all that kind of thing. You guys are all learning the lingo. So he was trade protection.
Not uniforms,
and he took a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he took a while. Like, the trade didn't happen right away. Like, he made, he talked to the general manager. He learned what the culture was. And he made the choice, a Canadian, a guy who's living up in Calgary, made the choice that he's going to come here. And this is why I said when this deal went down, I don't know if it was with you and Hans or you guys or DJ and PK had me on, and it proves to me that the team that has the best chance between the Jazz and the Mammoth to win a title, a championship, is the Utah Mammoth.
Yes.
Because players will come here to play. It is a good city. They're used to it. Not to make fun of Canadians, but many of them grew up on ice in the middle of no man's land. This is a big city. They like the fact, and give Ryan Smith credit, like it's top-notch facilities. They like the fact that the arena is going to be sold out pretty much every night. They like the fact that this team is building to be a winner. And so just that alone to me, that you have now professional multi-million-dollar athletes in the Big Four, two of the Big Four now, NBA and NHL, that actually want to come here. Mm-hmm. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to want to stay here if they're good. That's the other thing, we see with the NBA, and unfortunately we've seen with the Jazz over history. You draft that great player, and guess what happens? He ends up leaving. And that's just frustrating. And I don't think you're going to see that with the Mammoth. And more than likely what you're going to see is the Mammoth are going to continue to grow and build. And if they don't want that star player here, it's because the Mammoth are deciding to trade him and bring somebody else in, whether they have to make a move to make their team better or rebuild if they ever get to that scenario. But things are laid out pretty good. It's really fun. I can't wait for people to understand the sport more, because I think this is your best shot to have a parade down Temple. Well, or wherever they're going to have it.
Yeah, probably State Street. I don't know. That's a good question.
State Street, I was thinking. I was debating between State and Temple, but yeah.
Okay, Lloyd's telling me to go break. We'll go to break. I had a really good point, Lloyd.
Right.
I'm just joking.
Scotty.
When have you ever stopped?
Oh, I thought you said, when have you ever had a good point, is what you're going to say.
No, I would not say that to you. When has this ever stopped?
I'm talking way too much. Lloyd, I'm messing this up, man. Blame me. I'm the friend.
You're doing great.
No.
If you haven't heard our guy's voice, yeah.
No, it needs to be less of me today, for sure. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, Kevin, the U.S. hockey dominance over Canada continues in a big way.
God bless America.
Oh, God bless America in the biggest way possible. We'll tell you why next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You're locked on to Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard, Kevin Graham, the friend for the day. He'll also be a friend tomorrow. And I don't know. I feel like
it's going to happen when I'm not on anymore. I won't be your friend anymore.
I feel like I feel like I'm in junior high, and I wrote you a note like, Kevin, will you be my friend? Yes or no?
I've seen Leonard Skinner twice in concert. You ever seen him?
No. That would be my. That's on a bucket list, concert bucket list. I'd love to see Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, I mean, they're great. And now you got to remember the original Leonard Skinner. They
there's
in
a little bit of a car or a plane crash there. Yeah.
But no, they're good. They opened up for Kid Rock. I know it's shocking for you to hear that I would have been at that, but yeah.
Hey, just for the record, we pointed this out earlier. Kevin was on the Kid Rock bandwagon way before anybody else was.
Yeah, well, that's before he got political. Again, I'm not political. I just like his music. He puts on a great live show. But yes,
said nobody ever.
But we won. So why was that on the air, Lloyd, or was that just in our ears?
No, that was on the air. Lloyd,
okay, great.
Lloyd's always going to bring it on the air more often
jealously. Than not. It's okay, Lloyd. I mean, he's got his own plane. Do you? Huh? Yeah, let's pull the big card out.
Well, he's using Air Force One these days, so.
I know, that's true. That's not good. If Kid Rock's involved in any kind of policy, that is not good for the country. All right, I will throw that out there as a fan of his music, and some of his thoughts. But no. So anyway, why are we playing Freebird? What's that all about? That was cool.
Well, it was Team USA.
Yes,
and
right.
that was their theme song as the hockey team not only beat Canada for the gold medal. Jack Hughes not only scored the golden goal in overtime, but I'll be honest here.
Lost his tooth in the process.
But picked up a gold medal. He is the symbol of everything that's great in America. Really, I mean, you look at him holding the flag with a chipped tooth, blood everywhere, and a winner. It's like, okay, that's our guy right there. That's the new Marlboro Man. That's our guy. And he's the symbol of everything that's great in America. Well, he's decided to take it a step further and continue his conquest of Canada. I've heard the name Tate McRae. I don't know anything about her music. I do know that there's a lot of, let's just say she's very popular on social media for reasons outside of her music, I'll say. Mm-hmm. And Jack Hughes is now dating Tate McRae. So he not only ripped away a gold medal, he ripped away their most famous singer of the moment and said, "No, you're going to date me. You don't get to date a Canadian. I'm taking you to the prom, not anybody else."
Yeah, we're taking everything, Scotty.
Yes.
I mean, we're taking their hockey. I mean, that's something they love, and now we're taking the few women we want to take, and so that we're doing that as well. So that's it, So God bless America. I mean, I'm really. I mean, we are just. We don't even want. I mean. The rumors of him becoming that's not going to happen, the 51st state. We don't want you as a state. Like, you're just big, vast wasteland of ice. But we are taking what's left of you.
Yes.
Anything that's good, we are going to take. And I give Jack Hughes, man, he's the man. He's living the dream right now. He doesn't even have teeth. And he could just go in,
I know.
which a lot of Canadian men I don't think have teeth either. Yeah. But he could just go into Canada and he could just say, "Hey, look at me." And there we go.
Well, apparently all he did was just he slide into the mentions and just said, "Hey, what's up, mama?" And boom, it was done. That's all he had to do.
Take it a step further in Celine Dion. Have that one.
Celine Dion. No, I mean, Celine.
Celine is everything Canada. You do that, it's war.
What, you want Shania Twain next? Maybe Alanis Morissette? Just go after every generation of singer?
Is that the only 4 singers we know that are from Canada? Probably female.
That's about all I got. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any. I don't have any additional.
I think Sarah.
Oh wait, no. Skater Boy. Who sings?
Oh,
Skater
Avril
Boy?
Lavigne.
I think Avril Lavigne. I think might be from Canada, isn't she?
You're on your own on that one.
I don't know. I'm telling you, she might. But and it's Tate McRae. Lloyd, I asked you to get some songs from Tate McRae. Do we have anything? Do we have any music? I see. Lloyd does not read our prep sheet.
I think Lloyd is about as dedicated to your request as I was as your producer back in the day.
I told myself I'd get to it, and I just didn't. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Wow.
All right. Fine.
That's what happens when you have the program director as your producer. He's like,
I know.
What are you going to do about it?
Totally sucks. She is a Canadian. Avril Lavigne is a Canadian singer and songwriter. So she was like, remember, pop punk. Then she disappeared for a while. I think she had some kids or something, and now she's back. So, yeah.
But probably an American husband responsible for those kids. Yeah.
She's only 41 years old, by the way. Wow.
Wow.
She's approaching my range. I don't know if she's single, though.
Okay, Kevin.
She's single. So Avril Lavigne.
Kevin, are you making a public ploy for Avril Lavigne? Look, I know you're divorced, but
Lloyd, for tomorrow's show, can you get Avril Lavigne on, please?
Yeah, because that won't be uncomfortable at all. Wow.
Continue our quest to take the Canadians. Just like Jack Hughes, Kevin Graham. I promise you, my fellow Americans, I'm going to do my best to date Avril Lavigne. All right,
right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.